Champions aren't those that are afraid of failure. Champions are those that fail time and time again, but they get back up. What's up, champ? This is Gary Brackett. Some of you may know me as NFL player, Super Bowl champion, author, transformational speaker, philanthropist, dad, or just coach. And while all those are true, my most important role is as a leader. And as a leader, my goal is to create more leaders and fewer followers. I'm going to share my championship secrets with you in order to show you how you can become a champion in every key area of your life. No matter if it's self-development, business, fitness, social relationships, intimate relationships, finances, or spirituality, I want to give you some tools that you can use to build the life of your dreams. Welcome to the Champ Builders Podcast. Hey, what's going on, man? This is Gary Brackett, and welcome to the first episode of the Champ Builders Podcast. I am extremely excited to start this project. I have been thinking about this for a minute, and I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger, face in front of the camera, and I'm going through with it. What you should expect, or what you can expect from the podcast, it's just me just sharing my wisdom, my experiences of everything that I've learned, everything that I'm learning, and things that I've done. I've lived an amazing life thus far, 41 years old, had a lot of successes, but also some failures. And I think I'm going to be very transparent and sharing with you the good, the bad, the ugly, because I want to make you a champion. I want to make you a better person. And champions aren't those that are afraid of failure. Champions are those that, fail time and time again, but they get back up. And every time they get back up, they're a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser from what they have learned in their past. I think of experiences as never a loss, but always a lesson. And that's what I want to kind of share with you and encourage you on how you can be inspired and how you can obviously determine your destination. A few things. One, who is Gary Brackett? Well, I am really a small town guy, man. Originally born in Camden, New Jersey. From those who don't know, Camden, New Jersey is famous right across the bridge from Philadelphia, South Jersey, southern part of New Jersey. And they're famous because a few years ago, I don't think they're there anymore. Hopefully they're not. But they got an award for the number one worst city in America. I think the murder rate was crazy per capita. It's a small little city. And, it's the hood, right? So they were proud of that. So they had shirts that said, "We are number one." On the back was like murder capital of the world. So nothing to necessarily be proud of from that standpoint. But from a standpoint of resiliency, from a standpoint of people that are tough, Camden definitely made me that. I left when I was very young, but I feel like my father was from Westchester, Camden area. Mother was from Longside, New Jersey. So that was the combination, man. They met actually in the hospital. My mother was a registered nurse. Unfortunately, I lost her and both my father in 2003, 2004. So, played football growing up, basketball, baseball. My best sport was actually baseball, believe it or not. I was getting recruited to go to high school to play baseball, but man, it was boring. It was boring. Like, I'd be on base, no one would hit me home, and, I was like, man, this can't be it, right? This can't be it. I need to be involved in a sport where I can actually be thrilled and something that would give me some excitement. So I switched to football, played football from a very early age, had 3 older brothers. So they kind of helped introduce me in the game or baptize me in the game, if you will. They definitely weren't taking it easy on me, man. And that kind of always gave me my competitive advantage. Went to Rutgers University and was not given a scholarship. I was not given a scholarship. I had to walk on. My high school coach sent out, I believe it was my senior year playoff game to get me recruited. So if you know anything about recruiting, people are recruited their freshman, sophomore year, as early now as 8th grade, 6th grade. I mean, my senior year is when, the coaches send out tape to get me recruited. So I did not get a scholarship and ended up being a recruited walk-on at Rutgers University, and where I was given an opportunity to play. And I did that for a little while. Then I got a call. I got a call, man. This kind of moment changed my life, and I'm going to give it a little bit more time on this podcast, just again to give you some background, context about how I kind of was developed right into this champion, because it takes evolution. It doesn't happen overnight. I think it's a lot of little experiences that kind of add up and all accumulate to this mindset of a champion. And for me, my father called me. I was in my third year at Rutgers, and he called me, and this was at camp, and he said that he had bad news. I'm like, oh man, what happened? Like somebody passed, that's kind of what happened around where we lived at. But he's like, no man, your tuition bill came. I'm like, all right, pay it. Like what's going on, man? I'm like 19, 20, at that time money still grows on trees. And he was like, nah man, we don't have any more money left. We refinanced the house for the second time, and there's no more equity left, and we cannot afford to pay your tuition bill. So unfortunately, man, you gotta come home. And I was devastated. I was actually doing really well in school, 3.0 GPA, was actually making my way in football. I sat out my first year, so that second year when I actually played special teams, I had got an award for the most improved player during the offseason. Was just really working hard, man. I knew it was at stake in terms of, my education. So at that point, I went to my coach's office and told him about it. He was surprised. My position coach, he didn't know I was actually I was a walk-on, and he's like, "Man, we got to figure something out. Like you're a second team like linebacker. Someone's injured, you're in, and you start on special teams. Like, what do you mean you're not on scholarship? I'm not on scholarship. I don't know what to tell you." So he then says he'll talk to the head coach. Right? No promises. And I'm just like, you always kind of get that as a walk-on. Someone's going to talk to someone on your behalf. So whatever reason, he did. He talked to the coach, Terry Shea. And the next day, I had my Honda Excel hatchback filled to the brim. Everything I owned was in this car, right? And I tell the story that, my arms are so big right now because when I used to drive it, the car would shake when it did 55 miles per hour on the highway. So got a lot of bicep work, going back and forth up the highway. So I go to the coach's office in the morning, and the coach says, Gary, I heard about your situation. And I was like, yo, thanks for the opportunity, man. I really appreciate it. You guys are going to do good this season. Because I really thought we were. We worked really hard in the offseason. And he said to me, he was like, yo, I just want to let you know that we're going to recruit players that are bigger and better than Gary Brackett. I'm just like, whoa. Like, you don't got to kick me when I'm down, bro. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not your guy. Cool. I'm going home. But he said, man, let me finish. He said, but you work really hard. You're first in all the drills. And you give me everything you have every single day on the field. Because of that, I'm going to give you a scholarship. So it's funny, right? Because I tell the story and get choked up a little bit because I know what that moment felt like, and I know what it was how impactful it was for not only me but for my entire family. So I see like the kids on the internet now, and it's like crafty how they do it, man. But I kind of get choked up every single time I see it, man, because you don't know how hard these walk-ons work, man. It's like a walk-on mentality and for me, once I developed that mentality and once I had got going, putting in that type of work every single day, that was just my MO. That's just who I was. I showed up on time. I showed up early. I worked extremely hard. I outworked everyone on the team because I wanted to prove to them, yo, I should get a scholarship. So I'm a dog every single person on this team who got a scholarship to show you I'm better than them. And then after I got a scholarship, it was just like, yo, this is just who I am now. Like, you do it for long enough, it just becomes a habit. So every single day, even after the scholarship, that was my mentality. But this moment changed my life. I went inside of the weight room. Inside the weight room was Wesley Robinson. Wesley was from Camden, right? We talked about Camden. Born and raised in Camden. He stayed in Camden. Actually, with the Camden High, was a beast. Man, Wes was 6'4", about 240, 6% body fat. Looked like crazy, right? I mean, he's yoked up. I laughingly say, right, and Wes, if you see this, don't come get me. But I say he looked like Tarzan but played like Jane. That's a joke, right? And it's only a joke because, they tried Wesley at linebacker, and he was more of a dirt in the ground type of dude, defensive end, bull trying to chop. Linebacker, you got to read and react and, understand. So it's a challenging position if you never played that position. So needless to say, Wes actually played in the NFL for a couple of years, so he was a dog, though. So he looks at me straight in my face, right? And he was like, scholarship? You should worry about starting. And I was like, starting? Like, bro, I just got a scholarship. Like, I wasn't even worried about starting. I just wanted to pay for this education. I had like 40 meals, and if you went to college, that wasn't enough. So every day I was a kid outside the hall trying to get a swipe in so I could go and eat. I'm like, man, whatever, bro. So I finish my workout, I get money, I go back home, and then at night, man, I don't sleep. And that conversation just ran through my head. You should get a scholarship. You should get a scholarship. And what I realized is that we all sign these life contracts. And in life, we can actually sign whatever contract we want. But once we give our ask, life in return is going to give you the requirements in order to fulfill your ask. And if you're not willing to fulfill your ask, then you're not going to get whatever it is that you asked for. So for me, I thought, and I try to reverse engineer, right? So looking at the process and then go through the steps and what I need to do to get to that step. And I said, what do I need to do to be the starter? Real question. Like, look in your mirror. Honest assessment. And I was like, man, I probably need to lose a little weight. Right, a couple lbs, right? I was a little heavy at that time, probably 245, probably heaviest I ever. All right, so I'm back. So, like I said, this life contract. So you ask life what it is you want, and then life gives you whatever it is you need to do. So I started getting up early, started eating a lot better, right? I was 245 at the time. Because this whole notion that you had to be big to play football in college, but it was a lie. My best weight was 225 is what I ended up going to, and I felt great, fast, quick, and that's what you need to be. You need to be quick, all right? You need to be powerful, not big. There's two differences between big and powerful. Some people are big and still aren't powerful. So I was powerful at 225. Watch film. Be ready. All the things that you need to do to be a champion. So when I started showing up the next day with that new contract that I signed for myself, different things started to happen. Right? The coaches started to recognize me a little bit more. Started to get a little bit more playing time that season. Well, that off season, new coaches came, and Coach Shiano came, who's actually back at Rutgers now, and everyone started from square one. So I ended up being a starter, right? I ended up being a captain. And I'm actually now in the Rutgers Hall of Fame. And had I not had that conversation with Wesley, I never thought, well, I know that wouldn't have been the case. Why am I sharing this with you? What does this mean for you in your life? Like, what contract up until this point have you signed with life? What contract, what have you been sacrificing in order to live the life of your dreams? What commitments have you made to yourself? What lies do you tell yourself or convince yourself that you can't do something? And I think when we begin to uncover, right, who it is that's been holding us back, a lot of times what we realize it's been us. And I used to love Scooby-Doo as a kid, right? And in Scooby-Doo, it was those episodes of Always Be a Masked Man, and then they pull off the mask at the end and be like, oh, it was you, Mr. Silverson, right? And then everyone would be shocked. So they got this little meme where they pull off the mask and who's been holding you back? And in the mirror, it's you, right? It's you that's been holding you back. It's you that's been telling yourself that lies. It's you that's been eating those foods. It's you that hasn't been communicating. And you that doesn't have your budget in line. It's you that doesn't have a strategic plan inside your business. It's you that doesn't work out. And then when you do, you don't go as hard as you want to. It's you. If it is to be, it is up to me. My father always said that to me. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So in order to be a champion, if it is to be, it is up to me. It is up to you. You get to decide on what it is that you're going to do inside of your life, what contract you're going to sign in order to live the life of your dreams. All right? And my goal is to give you some examples. My goal is to give you some exercises. My goal is to give you some inspiration in order for you to live that life. And I've changed what I want to be known as, right? I've always been a speaker. But motivation is, and saying that I'm a motivational speaker, I think they're selling myself short, because motivation, I think, is fleeting. Like once you're motivated, you feel great. But guess what happens? That motivation goes, and if you don't do anything with that, then I mean, what are we doing? So I like to think of myself as transformation. And transformational in the way that I want to give you steps, I want to give you processes, I want to give you a way to think, a framework, something so you could diagnose where it is that you are and how do you get to where you want to be, not only in your business, but also in your life. So that's why I kind of am where I am today. Champion, obviously won a championship in the NFL, went ahead, got picked up by Indianapolis Colts, played 9 seasons, kind of rinse and repeat the same formula in terms of working extremely hard, end up being a free agent, working my way on to be a starter, be a captain, and then I was a captain of our Super Bowl championship team in 2007. And I know the grind. I know what it takes to kind of get there. And I kind of want to give you that playbook, that recipe book, so kind of help you get there as well. So that's kind of where I am. Transition after the game. Went and got my MBA from George Washington University. Then after that, got involved in the restaurant industry. Stack Pickle was a sports bar I invested in. I had real estate holdings. And we grew quite a bit. We grew over the last several years from 3 restaurants to 6. I purchased it when we had 6. I put together the processes and the systems for us to franchise, put together all the franchise agreements, all the franchise documents. And then we actually grew to 10 locations and signed 7 stores. And then obviously COVID hit and had to pivot because it made no sense for us to stay open. Probably talk about sunk costs in the next episode. But that's exactly who I am. And now full-time coaching, speaking, and loving it, man. I'm loving life because I really figured out now. I'm glad at 41 I figured out. But like the goal of life is not money. It's fulfillment and it's freedom. And for me, I measure now my life not by my bank account, but by my schedule. And I think, with my schedule, I do the things that give me fulfillment, coaching my kids, being in their lives, taking them to see different activities, Niagara Falls, just different monuments and things like that. And as they get older, start traveling a little bit more with them, maybe across seas. So those are the type of things that really excite me, really interest me. And I think, anymore when we look at our lives, it used to be you could be really successful at work, and that was it. And that making money can overcompensate for everything else. You could be a bad husband, a bad father. You could suck at spirituality, but so what? You make a lot of money, and that was cool. But I think we see people like that, and you see the Robin Williams of the world. You see the Andrew Bourdains of the world, and all these people commit suicide because it's like the art is like the science of achievement, the art of fulfillment. So there's ways that if you study that you could be successful from everyone else's standpoint in terms of you making money. But the art of fulfillment, what makes you happy, has to involve what your desires are, what your values are. And I look at life now holistically in 7 different areas. And this is what we're going to share throughout the podcast: self-development, personal development, your business and your career. So either you have a business, and I'm a business coach, and I help businesses 2x their revenue by working 10 hours less by implementing systems. Or you have a career, right? There's nothing wrong with having a career and just help you be more productive and more agile in your career. Next, fitness and health, right? You can't be the richest person in a graveyard. You can't have the greatest family and not be there to be with them. So you have to take care of your body. Also, your intimate relationships. What does that look like? Your social relationships, your finances, and then your spirituality. So all these things I kind of want to share with you, walk you through some of my methodology, some of the things that I think is important, and kind of let you in on what it is that I do to kind of make sure I can level up in those areas, and how we're gonna get there, right? And this is what I'm gonna leave you with. And I'm gonna want you to send me info at Gary Brackett, and I'm gonna send you a framework in order for you to do it for yourself. But what I developed was this framework, right, of my coaching. It's called the CHAMP framework. Now, everyone could be a champion. So the CHAMP framework breaks down how we get you there. So C is your current situation. take a list, an inventory of currently where you are in your life. H, you hone in on your desired destination. Where do you want to go, right? Like, make that picture clear. Like, clarity breeds power. So you got to be clear on not only where you are, but more importantly, where you want to go. Next, we apply the 80-20 principle. That means we take out the 20% of activities that you do that you can control that helps you achieve your end goals, achieve your destinations. So how we do that is we put you through like a model. We either eliminate, we automate, or delegate things inside of your life in order to make you more efficient, so then that you can achieve your success and that you're working in your area of unique genius. That's what we all should be doing. After we figure that out and really understand what that is, then next we take massive action. M is for massive action. It's consistency, it's daily rituals, it's KPIs, right? We're driving ourselves to reach our goals. We break them down into bite-sized quarterly initiatives, and then we break them down into 30-day and weekly goals in order so that we can stay on track to what it is we want to do. And then P is just the pursuit of the championship transformation. And for me, I think it's ongoing, right? It's not like a champion is something that it's a top of the mountain. Once you get there, you're there, and that's it. I think this thing that's always evolving, always growing. And I'm gonna leave you with this in the podcast because I think this is kind of how I live my life and like what I want my legacy to be. But there's this racehorse secretariat, and in this race, it was the greatest race ever. He won the Triple Crown this year. I think it was a Kentucky Derby. So there's 4 lengths inside of a horse race, and every length, right, is measured. So every length in this race, Secretariat was faster than the previous length. So he started off fast, got even faster. Third length even faster. Fourth length was faster than even his third one. So he was like accelerating through the finish line. Right? How amazing is that? Like, how many times have you seen a sports or an athlete like finish stronger than what they started? And a really testament to him and his training, but really was also his mindset. And I think that's the mindset that I want. I want to finish my life when it's all said and done faster than every other area, every other, length in my life. So if I'm lived to 80, if I'm lived to 100, whatever that is, that fourth quarter, I want to be going faster. And how I'm going to measure that is not necessarily by my own individual success, but from the people that I have helped along the way, and accumulating and calculating their success as something that I had, a small part to do with. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. I want to finish this life strong. I want to leave no regrets behind, and I want to bring people along, because my philosophy as a leader is not to create more followers, but to create more leaders. And if you listen to this podcast, I hope that you want to be a leader, you are a leader, and that you're going to bring some other leaders along as well. All right, so that's what I got for you today. If you want more information about us, sign up for our Facebook group. I'm going to be doing some lives in there, some Q&A, some other information about some opportunities to kind of work with us and the team. But other than that, man, just chime in. Just definitely comment, how this episode has impacted you. And obviously some different probably topics maybe that you want us to address. And I'll make sure to get that down on a list. And I make sure to address those whenever we have an opportunity to. All right. So what I got for you today, episode number 1, the Champ Builder podcast. Like, I believe in it. Every single day we have an opportunity to win a day. And today is not over. So put in the work to get yourself a dub. All right, man. I'm going to see you on the next episode of the Champ Builder podcast. Y'all take care.